Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation? And do you believe that you will be able to prove that? Jim Comer.
I sure hope so.
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer wasn't even in the room as this bombshell testimony by a former Hunter Biden business partner named Devon Archer was taking place Monday of this week. This was supposed to be their moment, folks. This was supposed to be the moment where the Republicans caught Joe Biden in a bribery scheme involving foreign agents. But guess what? They were unable to prove it, and James Comer wasn't even there to interview, to even witness the interview of Devon Archer. Now, the interview ended up being a big nothing burger. The transcript has been released, and just to back up a little bit and kind of tell you what this whole interview was about and what this investigation is about, is that the House Republicans, through the leadership of James Comer, are trying to implicate President Joe Biden in a bribery scheme. They are alleging that Joe Biden negotiated business deals with Hunter Biden and his foreign business partners, and that the two of them received tens of millions of dollars in payments from foreign nationals as a result. Now, this Devon Archer testimony was supposed to be a really important part of their investigation because they were alleging that Devon Archer, who served on the board of Burisma with Hunter Biden, was going to disclose that the bribery happened, that President Joe Biden was in on those negotiations, and that he sold his influence to these foreign nationals. Now, it turns out that the interview did not prove that because Devon Archer did not say what they were hoping he would say. What Devon Archer told them was that Hunter Biden tried to sell the illusion of influence, but that all he would really do during these meetings is he would just put his dad on speakerphone and his dad would make small talk and wouldn't actually engage in any conversation about business dealings whatsoever. In fact, to go further, he made it clear that he would be absolutely shocked if any $5 million payment was made to Hunter or Joe Biden. So it was a nothing burger. I think that James Comer knew it was gonna be a nothing burger, and that's probably why he didn't even show up for the interview. But that didn't stop him from making the rounds on cable television, pretending as though he was there during the interview. More on that in just a moment.
Yeah, so there's a couple of huge parts here where it's not even a nothing burger. It was absolutely exculpatory. So Comer, Jordan, all the other guys go, oh, we got it, man, we got it. Oh, this guy's gonna come in, he's gonna prove it. So the $5 million, every right winger in the world believes that Biden actually took $5 million. Zero evidence of it, right? And this guy said, what $5 million? We didn't get it. There's no $5 million. Joe Biden didn't get it. In that case, Hunter Biden didn't get it either. It's totally made up. In fact, the guy who told the FBI that he heard from someone else that it might have happened, he's like, I don't believe it either. So, and they don't have no idea who originally made up the story in the first place. There's no evidence. But if you go online and you talk to any right winger, they all believe 100% that Hunter and Biden both took the $5 million, it's in their pocket, and that it's already been proved. You can't talk sense to them, right? So that's point one. Point two is, he's like, you want me to tell you that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden talked about business in these calls, but that just never happened. He would always talk about the weather and how he was doing. And why did he call him? Because Biden called him every single day. That's what he normally does anyway. But especially after Beau died, his son, his other son, he knows Hunter's got the addiction issues. Every day he'd check in with him to make sure he was all right.
Yeah, let me weigh in on that as well, because Republicans have been kind of like clowning Hunter Biden about that. Like, oh, you gotta talk to your daddy. Is that what's happening? You gotta talk to your daddy every day. And it's like, okay, first of all, I mean, party of family values. I mean, I call my mom almost every day, right? Yeah. Like that's what some people do. Some people have that kind of relationship, but also, yeah, that addiction element to the story is also very relevant, and it shows what kind of father, Joe Biden is in checking in on his son.
Yeah, but remember, this is the guy they thought was going to burn Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, and had all the evidence. And then that line that he had is exactly right. He's like, look, basically, and he's kind of admitting that him and Hunter were the cheese dogs because they were like, we're doing illusion of access,
right?
Because we didn't actually have access. And remember, we showed you the comments from the emails and the laptop earlier, and that's where Hunter was saying, now don't promise that we can get Dad to do anything because we can't get him to do anything. And so there's tons of evidence that actually shows he definitely did not do it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm open-minded when it comes to this investigation, right?
Like from day one.
I have no loyalty to Joe Biden. I think he's an incredibly flawed politician. However, ironically, through this investigation into Joe Biden, I've actually grown my respect toward him because politicians are incredibly corrupt, and the fact that he was not easily corrupted through Hunter Biden and his foreign partners' business dealings, again, makes me respect him a little bit.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna do a grain of salt here. First of all, as we've talked about 1,000 times, Hunter was, again, like using his name to get money. There's no question about that. Of course,
yeah.
So when we say he didn't do it, I mean Joe Biden, not Hunter Biden. Even though Hunter Biden also didn't get the $5 million, he got a ton of money from Burisma. He got a ton of money for his so-called art, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't get that BS $5 million payment that they're talking about.
And Hunter Biden did commit crimes, which he's now, being tried for. Tax evasion, illegal gun, all of that stuff.
But Joe Biden, I think, is corrupt in the way that 90% of politicians are corrupt, which is he takes campaign contributions and does exactly what his donors want. I think that's a form of legalized bribery. So I got no love for Biden or any of these greasy politicians, but facts matter. And so, okay, so apparently Joe Biden doesn't do
illegal
corruption. Like, actually, of all the politicians, he's the only one we can say for sure doesn't do it, because we have the actual emails that they never thought were going to be released. We have the witnesses, we have the evidence. I mean, ironically, the Republicans have proven that Joe Biden's clean. Yeah. Which then leads us back to Comer, because let's show you some of those clips.
And both of you have put your neck on the line to get to the truth, and we went a long way today. And will you both answer yes or no? Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation, and do you believe that you will be able to prove that? Jim Comer.
I sure hope so. And I do believe that there's a lot of smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire. We just heard testimony today that Joe Biden had lied to the American people.
Okay, so later in the interview, when Fox News's Sean Hannity asked Comer about major takeaways from the interview, Comer delved into what Archer had told the committee, claiming that it had made an alleged Biden bribery scandal more credible. He wasn't at the interview, and this interview with Sean Hannity happened immediately after the interview with Devon Archer.
Yeah, it's amazing, guys. I mean, this is what we're talking about when we say 90% of politicians are cheesy liars. So you can say more Republicans do it, and that's fair, they do, but tons of Democrats do it too. But in this case, Comer, not only was he not there, there was, out of the entire committee, there was only 2 people there. Andy Biggs was there the whole time, he's from the Freedom Caucus. And Jim Jordan was there for part of the time. Okay, Comer didn't even show up, and he's like, well, I had important business in Kentucky. And then they found out on Instagram he was bragging about how much golf he played with his buddy in Kentucky over the weekend. And that's why he was missing. He's playing golf, which goes to show you what Anna said, which is that he knew that Devon Archer wasn't going to say anything. They don't even care about that.
They want to provide the illusion of wrongdoing. That's why, guys, look, I want to go to one more interview, Cenk, because after the Hannity interview, then Comer goes on Newsmax, and this one was even more brazen because you got to listen to the framing of the question from Greg Kelly. So let's watch.
That Goldman guy, Congressman, he looked spooked. He looked nervous, and you were in the room. Like, are these guys recognizing that this is beyond their control now? That the stuff that Biden apparently has been doing, I mean, obviously been doing, it's metastasized, and this is gonna, this is real. It's not fake news. It's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, the walls are closing in on the Bidens, and the Democrats on the Oversight Committee continue to move the goalpost.
So Greg Kelly says you were in the room, which of course Comer was not in the room, and of course Comer didn't correct him. And he's giving this illusion that the interview was a bombshell, that Joe Biden was implicated in some criminality and some bribery scheme when there's absolutely no evidence of that. And look, this is, in my opinion, yet another perfect example to drive home the point that I'm trying to get people to really grasp here when it comes to media propaganda, algorithms, filter bubbles, and how the reason why everyone's living in a different reality is because people are getting a different narrative depending on what algorithm they're plugged into. So if you're a right winger and you're watching that Greg Kelly interview with Comer, you're under the impression that, oh my God, Joe Biden took bribes from foreign nationals.
So guys, both the Newsmax and the Fox News interviews, I was gonna make the same exact point as Anna. You would have no idea that the guy actually said that Biden didn't do it if you watch the entire segments. So look at all the smoke screens. First of all, Comer says, well, there's smoke, there's fire. No, dude, you created the smoke, and then we found out there was no fire. It was just you blowing smoke. But Hannity, Jordan, Comer, during that entire interview, they talk as if Biden did it without actually talking about a single piece of evidence, because they don't have any evidence. And then Greg Kelly says, oh, Daniel Goldman, he was really nervous. I watched Daniel Goldman, he wasn't at all nervous. He was laughing and he was rubbing it in their face. He's like, what happened? Your big star witness proved our case. But people watching that Newsmax segment have no idea that that's what actually happened. They think that Daniel Goldman was like, oh no, what if they've got us, right? It's just one lie after another. And they're like, oh man, the walls are closing in on the Bidens because zero evidence plus zero evidence equals walls closing in to zero evidence. But if you watch those shows, you don't know any of that. You never heard it. And you walk away thinking, oh man, they got him. Joe Biden definitely took a bribe. And then you get angrier and angrier when you see Trump being indicted. You're like, why aren't they indicting Joe Biden? He took $5 million and Hunter Biden took $5 million, etc. Because they genuinely believe it. And to me, that makes people like Comer and Jordan, but especially Hannity and Greg Kelly and all those hosts, 10,000 times more culpable. Because they know they're lying.
Yep.
Comer knows he wasn't in the room. Comer knows that testimony didn't help them at all, and they were humiliated by that testimony. Hannity knows it, Greg Kelly knows it. Greg Kelly's so dumb, he might not even know it. But generally speaking, they all know it and they all lie on purpose. And we saw with the Dominion lawsuit, where Hannity, Tucker, and all the rest of them are like, these are insane conspiracy theories. But hey, we gotta tell our audience because our audience wants to hear these lies.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.